Hey everyone, welcome to Cricket SWAC Game Day, presented by Pepsi Zero Sugar. I'm Tolly Carr in Atlanta. It has all come down to this: Southern University versus Jackson State SWAC Championship. Winner goes on to the Celebration Bowl to take on North Carolina Central University, who's already waiting, practicing, and preparing. Some people say that's a little advantage. I won't get into it. But we're going to get into all of the football today, plus hear from the SWAC Commissioner, Dr. Charles McClelland. Today's show is brought to you by Cricket. Smile your own cricket. Pepsi Zero Sugar, official partner of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Before we talk about Saturday's game, let's relive the drama that got us up to this point. Going into the Bayou Classic, if Southern University did not win its annual grudge match against Grambling, Prairie View A&M was going to return to the SWAC championship game. For Southern, it was simple: win and you're in. Let's go back to the Bayou. This SWAC recap is brought to you by General Motors, official sponsor of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Pick it up in the Superdome, New Orleans. Bayou Classic, Grambling State strikes first. Julian Calvez finds Lyndon Rash. 4-yard touchdown, 7-zip Grambling. Southern responds in the second quarter. Carl Ligon, 2-yard run, 7-7 ball game. Grambling responds with a field goal to go up 10-7, but Southern comes right back right before the half. Kendrick checked the Rhymes, a 5-yard touchdown. His name is Kendrick Rhymes, and Southern up 14-10 at the break. Third quarter, Grambling not done. Calvez, a 1-yard run. That caps off a 9-play, 94-yard drive, 17-14 Grambling. All the way into the fourth quarter, Bishan McCray with the go-ahead touchdown run for 22 yards. That puts Southern up 21-17, and the Jaguars lay it on after that. Jordan Carter, a 48-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown, and now Southern finds themselves up 28-17, and the icing on the cake, a 42-yard pick six. Christian Davis. Talk about the defense of Southern saving the day. They go on to win it over Grambling, 34-17. Hey, let's interrupt the show real quick here. For the first time this season, a little bit of breaking news. The postseason awards for the Southwestern Athletic Conference are in. We now know the players of the year, the coach of the year, first team SWAC, second team SWAC. Let's get right to it. Taking a look at player of the year. That award goes to Deion Sanders out of Jackson State University. He's the quarterback. You know the numbers that he has had. His teammate, Aubrey Miller Jr., Defensive Player of the Year. Alcorn State's Jarvion Howard, Newcomer of the Year. Jackson State's Kevin Coleman Jr., Freshman of the Year. He's a wide receiver. And Jackson State's Deion Sanders, Coach of the Year. So that is 4 awards for the top honors of the conference going to Jackson State University. All right, we're going to put it on the screen here. We have a lot of names. Let's look at our all-SWAC first team offense. All-SWAC first team defense. All-SWAC first team for the specialist. Second team, All-SWAC offense. Second team, All-SWAC defense. And second team, All-SWAC specialist. And of course, for this complete list, if you want to break it down, just go to SWAC.org. All right, let's see if we can resume with our regularly scheduled program here on SWAC Game Day. So here we are. The postseason has officially begun. A look at the postseason schedule is brought to you by Rocket Mortgage. For an expert partner to help buy your new home, Rocket can. Saturday, December 3rd, 3 p.m. Central, 4 p.m. Eastern. Grab an early lunch on the West Coast. Jackson, Mississippi. Live broadcast ESPN2. It's the SWAC championship game. Jackson State will host Southern University. Winner of that game will end its season in Atlanta on December 17th with the Celebration Bowl. The SWAC champion will take on North Carolina Central University. It's a 12 p.m. kickoff. Jackson State and Southern has met already met one time this year. Let's take a look at how things went. It was a big day. It was ESPN on the scene. College game day, Jackson State, big.
With that 35-point victory, the shutout victory, what else does that say about this program to anyone who has continued to doubt it?
It is what it is. It is what it is. That's what it says. You didn't have to watch the game, but when you look at the score, it is what it is.
All right, so we saw the outcome of the first game. They're going to meet a second time. Lots to talk about here. Let's start with Southern University. Head coach Eric Dooley. The Jaguars lost to Jackson State. You just saw how all that went down. So how can Southern reverse course from that outcome?
Well, we got to come out and we got to execute at a high level. And when we execute at a high level for 60 minutes, I like our chances. So we know the things that we have to correct, and that's what we're working on as we speak. So we just got to continue to keep working and keep grinding, and got to take place on Saturday. We'll see how the chips fall.
Deion Sanders, head coach at Jackson State, up next on the microphone. Your team beat Southern, coach, 35-0. Is it hard to beat a man, to beat a team twice? Could that be a challenge?
And Southern played them once, and we won handily, but that does not mean anything. This is playoffs, and anything can happen. But we just want to happen what happened previously, so that's the way we're going at it. We want them to remember that whooping. We want them to remember how they performed. We want them to remember that, but we also want them to perfect what we did last time when we played against this team. We don't want them to forget everything. We want them to understand the feeling of walking on and off that field in dominance. So we don't want them to forget everything.
All right, back to Coach Dooley. You prepared for this. Last year, you were the coach at Prairie View A&M. You've been here before. Does that offer any advantages, that different look, that different set of lens? Any disadvantages, advantages? Let us know.
Well, you say an advantage. I guess it's an advantage for both of us because he had to prepare for us as well. It's a different team, but pretty much the same scheme, so it's no different. So it's no advantage. I think it's what you do now. That's why we use that acronym, WIN. What's important now? That's what's important right now, that we prepare for a great football team. That obviously they're a great football team. They're 11-0. They haven't lost a game this year and playing at a high level. And number one in probably every category that you try to categorize. So we do know the challenges and we know what we have to do, but of course, we're gonna always love our chances. We have an opportunity. So the things that we have to prepare for are advantages. I don't look at advantages. I just say you just got to go out and execute at a high level.
All right, sticking with Coach Dooley, Jaguar Nation wants a win. They want it bad. I know you do as well. One more thought, Coach, on the SWAC championship.
The thing about it, the momentum, we just got to continue to go. When our defense is playing at a high level, it gives us a great chance of winning the ball game. And then course, offensively, we got to put the ball in the end zone. That's what it all comes down to, scoring points. So I do like the way that we finished the game. Still some work to do, and that's what this week here will take care of.
Okay, let's get back to Coach Sanders. Now, we know this guy all too well, right, at this point in the season. But tell us again, one more time, what will Coach Prime be preaching to his team?
Our young men, as well as coaches, as well as training staff, equipment staff, and everyone in-house remains focused on the main thing. The main thing is dominating for 60 minutes on Saturday. That's the thing. Don't start thinking about the Celebration Bowl. Don't start thinking about these achievement and postseason awards. Focus on the job at hand. That's the main thing. And we got to keep the main thing the main thing.
All right, a lot of talk there. Are you excited? Are you ready to play? Well, watch. Okay, no one's wanting to see us play. Let's not get too ahead of ourselves. But seriously, there is other news out there within the SWAC community. Deion Sanders remains a hot commodity amongst teams that have an open position for a head football coach. During Monday's press availability, Kendrick Marshall from HBCU Sports asked Coach Prime about it, and he did not shy away from his answer at all.
Yeah, Coach. Over the weekend, Pete Thelma with Fox Sports reported that Colorado had made you an offer to become their next head coach. Mm-hmm. How true is that report, and is there any mutual interest between you and the school?
Yeah, definitely. The report is true. They're not the only ones. The report is true. I'm not going to sit on here and tell all my business, but they're not the only ones. And I would be a liar if I told you they didn't. You know they did. I know they did. Everybody there know they did. So it is what it is. That's not my focus right now. My focus is to win and to be dominant, and then to and not even to go on to during the Celebration Bowl. My focus is right here in this beloved stadium to be dominant on Saturday. That's my focus. And I keeps the main thing. And everyone that knows me know that about me. I have an innate ability to focus and keep the main thing.
So a lot of the conversation around coaches being in demand always centers around what? The money, right? All right, it's got to be more money. Got to be the money, must be the money. But when you talk about money in college athletics at the FCS level, the SWAC is in a very solid position. Now, don't take it from me. Don't believe what I say. Hear it from the man himself, Commissioner Dr. Charles McClelland.
Revenue is up. Revenue is up significantly. I've said this before, and I say it now. We are not the small black college poor conference anymore. We are a legitimate force. Our revenue numbers are tracking extremely strong. I have not seen the other FCS conferences revenue this year, but based upon last year's numbers, we will rank first of all of FCS. Given where we are with our television contracts in 5 years, we will actually surpass 2 FBS conferences. Again, they might have the ability to up their numbers. We are going to enter, we have 3 more years left on our ESPN contract where we're start to enter negotiations with ESPN. So we think that we are in a very positive position to elevate this conference, to be able to do some things that people have never been able to see. We distributed over $9 million last year. We got the final numbers in. That does not include allowing Jackson State to keep all of the revenue from the championship game. When you look at distribution to our membership, we have distributed more than all FCS conferences. So James asked that question before, and I've had to say this publicly. People talk about people coming in, but what about schools leaving? We can honestly say, if there is a institution that want to leave the SWAC, they would have to go Power 5, because there's no other conference that they can get as much revenue distribution from the SWAC. That's how strong we are, and our revenue projections are trending, upward. So when you start talking about what's next, it is to continue to deliver to our fans a quality product. It is to continue to deliver the revenue that our member institutions need, so they can do things such as not having to play all of these types of game guarantees, being able to travel in a first-class manner. That's what conference offices are for. And I am proud to say that in 4 years, we've been able to elevate our revenue structure to where we're now distributing legitimate, serious money back to our schools to where they can do some of those things.
All right, the commish touched on several subjects on Monday, including the conversation surrounding FAMU not making the playoffs and how other conferences might actually be interested in more of this bowl type activity, some bowl scenarios at the FCS level. More now from Dr. McClelland.
There's only 2 FCS conferences that are eligible to play in a bowl game. That's the SWAC and the MEAC. And it took special legislation to do so. Right now, the Transformation Committee for the NCAA is going through their process. The NCAA is going to look a lot different once this process is done. So now is the time that if we want to get anything done, to propose getting those things done. But I can tell you, I've had other conferences to reach out wanting to participate. You know, there's been this debate about FCS Playoff Celebration Bowl. I can tell you there are many conferences that are saying behind the scenes that they would much rather play in some type of bowl game against the Southwestern Athletic Conference, that the revenue is there and the opportunity to win a national championship is very enticing for those types of institutions. And at the end of the day, it's coming down to revenue. So when you talk about Florida A&M, you talked about, you know, what that entails. You know, in order to host a FCS championship, the minimum bid is $30,000. That's not going to get you a game. You're going to be with somewhere between the $50,000, $80,000, $100,000 range. And then a percentage of that revenue has to go back to the NCAA. And then if you have to leave, you have to pay all of your expenses to go. So let's just say FAMU hosted. You know, they were going to be out of $50,000 to $80,000 to host, whatever it costs for them to go play that following week. So let's say they made it to the national championship game. It could have cost them upwards of $250,000, $300,000. Again, it's important to be able to play for a national championship. I'm not taking that away, but we have made the decision that the Celebration Bowl is the route that we want to go. We want to be like the SEC and the Big Ten and the Pac-12. We want to be able to compete in a bowl game and compete at the highest level. So getting multiple bowl games is definitely our priority. And I don't know, I can't say it's not imminent. It's not tomorrow. It's not next week. It's going to take some time. But in this new structure of the NCAA, I can tell you 100% we are in the middle of it. We have a voice, and we will continue to exert our voice to be able to move our agenda forward and try to get some of the things that we would like to have.
So, thank you, Dr. McClelland. For those of you fans out there, your school didn't make it to the SWAC championship game. I know the feeling. But it's already time to get ready for next season. We got recruiting right here. Early recruiting is underway. We got spring ball coming up. So let's take a look at the final regular season standings from this year. Then we'll get on to next year, but let's see where your team finished. SWAC standings brought to you by General Motors, official sponsor of the Southwestern Athletic Conference. Perfection is still in the air for Jackson State. Will it continue this weekend against Southern? FAMU thought they had a postseason berth in the NCAA playoffs. A lot of people thought that they would as well, but ended unfortunately without one, but still a great season at 9-2 for FAMU. Alabama State, you see them 6-5 under Coach Eddie Robinson Jr., his first year. Alabama A&M, Bethune-Cookman, and Mississippi Valley State round out the SWAC East final regular season standings. Out west, well, on paper, it looks like a tie at the top between Prairie View A&M and Southern, but Southern won the head-to-head tiebreaker, so they are going to the SWAC championship. There you have Texas Southern, Alcorn State, Grambling State, and Arkansas Pine Bluff rounding out the West. Well, that is it for this week's Cricket SWAC Game Day, presented to you by Pepsi Zero Sugar. Enjoy the SWAC championship game Saturday afternoon. Be at the Vet or catch it on ESPN2. It's been a great football season. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be talking more basketball as time goes along, but a really big game this weekend. Winner goes to the Celebration Bowl. From Atlanta, I'm Tolly Carr. We'll talk to you guys later. Thank you so much for your company.